In this video essay, we are going to talk about ecocriticism approach on a movie Annihilation. Annihilation is a movie about a group of scientists trying to figure out what happened inside a strange phenomenon they call as the shimmer. A strange blast struck the lighthouse by the shore, and somehow it creates a strange phenomenon that invades the human territory. And then the weird portrayal of the nature in this movie is very intriguing. Knowing the genre is science fiction, broad ideas of abstract representation can be explored. So what is exactly the shimmer? So the shimmer, which they call it in this movie, is actually work as a prism which they refracts wave. But in this movie, it also refracts DNA. Animal DNA, plant DNA, all DNA. Annihilation clearly takes the concept of mutation, duplication, and finally a complete annihilation. Thus, the entity that somehow being a strange phenomenon in this movie left unanswered, more likely left to be interpreted by the audience. In the very beginning of the movie, the protagonist, who is a biologist, was explaining about cells. But instead of using normal human cells, Lina used cells from a tumor. We know that cells in tumor mutate rapidly and results in killing other cells. Later on, Lina also talked about how aging is actually not a natural process, but a mistake from the cell's mutation. Saying, quote, "We see aging as a natural process, but it's actually evolved in our genes," end quote. Furthermore, this could be our base idea to build the movie's core idea of the concept of nature it's proposing. The next question is, in what way does the representation differ with reality? The representation differs almost in every way of reality. The movie depicted many aspects of life through the portrayal of nature. As we can infer, no signs of natural disasters were seen, such as storm, flood, or even earthquake. Only strange phenomena can be seen from the living beings inside the shimmer. The first strange phenomenon are the flowers. It grows from the same branch but creating new species of flowers. As Dr. Ventress, the leader of the mission, said that it's like pathology, which is a disease, a condition where the cells mutated rapidly results in destroying other cells, even killing it. But in reality, pathology can be said of pathology only if it happens in human. The next one is the alligator that shared similar feature, in particular teeth, with shark, which we know that this can be a crossbreed, but in reality crossbreed cannot be done between two different species. Hence, this phenomenon supports the ideas of interspecies crossbreed that is presumably being proposed. One dangerous creature defined as a bear in this movie show how unimaginable it is inside the shimmer. The bear killed one of the characters and can mimic the voice of its prey. The horrendous events such as the moving flesh inside the body of a man in the previous mission also portrayed how humans are actually embedded with the life cycle of the nature, the concept of rapid mutation. We can see that this phenomenon can only happen in plants or animal. It can also happen in human. We cannot really see the distinction between humans and other living beings inside the shimmer, as it is strangely blended. Human-shaped plants, rapid speed of DNA mutation that also affects the scientists. This somehow supports the idea of ecocriticism that reject the entire belief of constructedness, and nature really exists beyond ourselves, but is with us and affects us, perhaps fatally if we mistreat it. Now we come to the last question. What is actually the represented ideology? As far as we are concerned, the most proposed ideology in this movie is the concept of self-destruction. Self-destruction, by definition, is any harmful behavior that could harm or even perish the one who involved in the behavior itself. In Annihilation, All of the scientists that go on this mission have their own destructive reasons, in particular, their guilty feeling towards their loved ones. Dr. Ventras suggests that humans are rarely suicidal, but almost always self-destructing by the virtue of the damage we do to others. The shimmer reflects back on them. It's an intriguing visual mirroring, actually. As Dr. Ventras saying, quote, "I'd say you're confusing suicide with self-destruction. Isn't self-destruction coded into us?" End quote. If we pay attention to the details in the movie, we can see that the abandoned house inside the shimmer is actually the same house as Lena's. This phenomenon somehow depicts not only that the prism can reflect the DNA, but also the memories. Again, we know that this is a science fiction, so any broad ideas can be accepted. However, the concept of self-destruction does not only apply on humans, it is also applied on any living beings on Earth. Rather than seeing it as a harmful behavior, this movie trying to say that self-destruction is just a cycle of life. So we will jump into conclusion on how Annihilation depicted nature and its ideology to answer our eco-criticism approach. The movie used cells as their base concept in depicting mutation. This related to the final scene where Ventress completely vanished into a non-human being, and before that she said, quote, "But it will grow until it encompasses everything. Our bodies and our minds will be fragmented into their smallest parts." End quote. We all know that cells are the smallest part of a human body, so presumably the concept of Ventress being annihilated in the final scene refers to the concept of repeat cells mutation. Hence, the idea of creating something new in the final scene is Lena's double. However, the relation between the concept of self-destruction in creating life might be the idea that this movie is trying to depict, as Lena in her interview saying, quote, "It was changing everything. It was making something new." End quote. Finally, we know that the ideology that is being proposed by this movie is portrayed toward the weird representation of nature in the visual or even in the concept of the prism itself. So, thank you for watching.